HiSec Buyback offers a 90% JITA anywhere in HiSec. Simply go to hisec.evebuyback.com, appraise your items, create a contract, and get paid quickly.
Welcome to Talking in Stations, a podcast about EVE Online. I'm Abbie Rova, your host for today, and here with me is Arsia Elkin.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. We also have Nick Bison over there.
Good. Happy Sunday, everybody.
And we also have three very special guests with us today on the show. Say hello, Cosmic.
Hello.
Kyle.
Hello, everyone.
And Tommy.
Yo.
So how's everyone doing this weekend? Everyone having a nice weekend?
Pretty good, yeah. Preparing to sell some stuff, farm some things, had a party, all sorts of good stuff.
Very nice. So you guys have been up to some, a wide variety of shenanigans, as it seems, right? So who are ye, and what group are you with, or who do you fly with?
I think the toast guy can explain that. Kylon, you're the binding factor, I think.
Oh yeah, well, we're a Poshvin group. We're pro-Triglavian, and we live mainly in Poshvin. That allows us a unique way to travel to the rest of New Eden. And that's something that Cosmic has been able to capitalize on.
Yeah, I basically use Poshvin to filament around and steal people's ore. That's the main thing I do.
So for anyone in the audience who isn't aware, Poshvin is this region. It was formed in October, so almost a year ago this week coming up. So it's that region of space that Triglavian collective took from the empires. It's the 27 systems in the triangle. And there's a lot of there's a couple of ways in and out of Poshvin, right, that people are exploiting ye for fun and content. So there's the wormholes in and out. And correct me if I'm wrong, Arsia, the thing about those wormholes is they spawn outside in, don't they?
Correct. They spawn outside in from systems that were within 3 jumps of where the system used to be on the map. So they are within limited sets of systems.
So I'm actually just after grabbing the Poshvin entry manual. I'm going to post that here in chat.
Very useful.
I think there's one or two exceptions to this only spawns outward in rule. I mean, there's more knowledgeable people about this I could ask, but there's I want to say 7-ish variants of wormholes that have slightly different spawning mechanics. In some cases, you have inner trig wormholes that connect the region itself to another system within a region.
So those are in the case of systems that used to be within 3 jumps of one another in the Caldari state. So they're the normal Poshvin wormholes.
Right.
Yeah. So Guerilla used to be within 3 jumps of another one of the systems. Right?
See, here you go. It's those small little things, you know. The picture gets a little bit better. Everybody you talk to, it's excellent. Yeah, well, that apparently. So that still follows those same rules. Then it's just a gimmicky mechanic. That's fair.
And the other place, there are some wormholes from the drone regions into Poshvin, and then there are some wormholes from Anoikis into Poshvin, which is wormhole space. And from the drone region wormholes, drones spawn, like rogue drones that you can fight. From the Anoikis wormhole space, wormholes, drifters and sleepers spawn. And then there are wormholes to other parts of nullsec. I think there's just 1 or 2 that spawn in Poshvin.
Yeah, so there is when we look at wormholes, one side of the wormhole always has a particular name. Well, it's a letter and then 3 numbers, and then the other side, like the exit side, is always like a K162, right? So when we say the entrance spawns from the outside, you have to go to like K-space to that HiSec system or low-sec system and scan down the signature to open it up in the Poshvin space. If you yeet yourself into Poshvin space, which is another way of getting in and out, you have to you cannot open a wormhole out unless
and
it's
just
already been opened from the outside in.
A lot of them
Yeah.
are already open though, usually. But if it's not, you can't open it out, like you said.
yeah, and that's also like how this little band, like the Kylon and Cosmic, are part of Toast, which used to be, don't quote me on this, but I think you always staged either in Harva or Tunadan.
Used to be.
And yeah, it used to be Harva, which is a system in Poshvin now. And I'm part of RC, the Wrecking Crew for Purple Armored Warriors, and I got sucked into Poshvin through Kuhara. So this little group of tricks, like when initially Poshvin formed, that was probably one of the coolest parts, at least in my opinion, from Poshvin. Like all these new neighbors just, poking next door, what's going on here, what's going on there, and there's a complete variety of people mixing up and starting to combine what they're doing from different regions. It just created a very interesting mixing pot.
Yeah, I think you kind of had that during the invasion as well, Arsia. You might know, but like when the invasion was happening, and different systems across the whole map were like flaring up with fighting. You had your fleet running around everywhere. I remember like being in a system and an invasion happened next door, and then all of a sudden there was hundreds of people passing through. There was Trig fleets, there was Edencom fleets. Definitely
It's
saw
like
a
playing
lot of
whack-a-mole.
Definitely brought spikes of activity to random areas of the map.
Right, and it was a sort of excitement in the air, right? I remember that first system was falling, people scouting from all over the place, buzzing towards that same area.
That was
It was just
Raravos. Yeah, that was Raravos.
there was something in the air, right? Everybody parking, like Drekavax there, and just sitting, oh, what's going to happen?
Nobody quite knew exactly what was going to happen, and a lot of people poured in. And that was before the Amar NPCs, which were a bit too powerful, got nerfed. They were a lot too powerful at first, and then they got nerfed, and they were a bit too powerful. But when Raravos was happening, the Amar NPC, like so many people would pour in and they'd kill each other, and then like the Amar NPCs would like push it back up a little bit, and it lasted for so long.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah, I remember actually running to Ravavas that first day and not really knowing what to expect and just getting blown up on a gate.
Yeah, I think I spent most of the day cloaked in an Astero just watching all this fighting. Bjorn B had a pretty notable Dominic's fleet going on there.
So the other way in and out of Poshvin, which I think is kind of the way most people would be getting in and out now, is through the filaments as well, right? So there's a lot of, I mean, some people love them, some people hate them. I know we've had like 2 wormhole shows in the last week where a lot of complaints were about the ability for people to remove themselves from a dangerous situation they created and kind of be able to go to Poshvin, wait 15 minutes, and then get out to HiSec or low-sec. But so ye are definitely making liberal use of filaments as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can both love them and hate them, right? I mean, if you'd ask me the question, do they need to change in some way, shape, or form to make it in some way more enjoyable? Yeah, I think so. I think it's ridiculously easy to get away from any sort of situation right now. But then again, there's upsides to the filaments, and using them the way that we've been trying to use them does allow us to like just taste a breath of variety in Eve that I haven't, I have tended to localize on a specific region of space and try and do stuff in that area, right? And this just allows you to go everywhere at any time. It's real fun because one day you're shooting drones, next day you're running sites over there, you're in a wormhole. It's really interesting.
Gotta remember, they're not just used for defense; they're also used to invade other regions and attack.
Right? Yeah. With some keys, it's great. Text null sex, excellent. It's good content.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I'd agree. I think that in their current form, they are a bit too powerful, but it doesn't stop me using them for fun and content. And
I really like filaments. I think the Podgefin filaments are maybe a little bit too powerful because you're always like 1 or 2 jumps to high or low sec. I think the null filaments are in a good place, but the Podgefin filaments are a bit powerful because
Yeah.
you can just immediately extract and go home without having to like.
What if
find
they
your way
could
home.
follow you through?
right. I was just about to say the late and great Maldavius had an exquisite idea. What if you can just click on that gate and hop on right through? That would be so cool. You can just hunt those guys. Just follow in a Tengu or something. That'd be so good content. Where are you gonna end? Oh my god.
I
It's
think
an adventure.
I think as well, like I personally would like to see like a bit of a spool up timer, not too long, but like long enough that you can maybe be combat probed in a wormhole or in
Yeah,
Podgefin
and
before you filament out.
yeah,
Just-
and maybe a giant bloom as well, right? So that you're really, really easy to be probed down.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about 5 minutes. I mean like 15, 20, maybe even 30 seconds. So someone who's really on the ball would be able to get a combat scan if they like know you're there. You know, they know you're on that moon. Just give them a chance. But I actually really love that follow idea. That would be fantastic.
Right?
Then,
Just,
yeah.
I mean, I always thought that would have been cool for the Abyss as well. Just the normal Abyss, right? Here you go, running your little Abyss site. Oh my god, somebody scanned down your Abyss trace. Now there's a Tengu in your site. Or, you know, something smaller. Tengu might
I
be
feel
a
like
little
people
bit
could abuse that to like have 2 cruisers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, it's very abusable, but, you know, it doesn't mean it's not fun.
Yeah, there has to be some limit on the
Right.
PvE sites. I mean, imagine
Definitely.
bringing a Marauder in or something.
Well, they can't enter. It would have been the same ship class, but then still, you'd be horribly screwed if somebody comes in after you, regardless, right? So it's probably a bad idea.
I think
People would bring in multiple cruisers to like finish it faster.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, they'd use their alts to just go in and help them clear the site. I actually had not considered that.
Yeah, they were just it would be like unlimited mega crabbing.
Scratch that idea. Thank you, Arsia. Crushed my heart.
so. What have you been using Podgefin filaments for? So tell us about these ESS sites.
Right. Well, we already used Rob the regular banks before the keys got made available. I don't know how long it's been, like a month or 2 or something, I think, by now. And we already Zero was already the alliance leader for Toast. Zero Plague. He might have been on the show or on another show. I don't remember. He always wanted to like invade nullsec back from Potion because he figured, right, you live here. You're not just gonna, from an RP-ish kind of perspective, not just play around on your own turf, right? We gotta continue these invasions and start having a presence in K-space. So we started doing these Vetmac roams, just stealing the main banks, and then eventually, by happenstance, I guess, because you don't predict how those keys become available, but we're able to farm them. And now, we just supply stacks of keys and we try to take a couple people out on null yeets. Basically, just bring the Orca, Filament, some supplies, put the keys in there, go have some fun, see if people form. So far, it's been less fun on the forming side and more fun on the lucrative side because it's been exceptionally lucrative, but not a lot of exceptionally fun fights yet. So yes, that's a challenge to anyone.
Do you find a difference in where you're filamenting into region-wise, or is it because of whose space it is and whether or not you think you might get content off them?
I mean, it depends, obviously, a lot on time zones. So if you time zone tank it, then you're going to get away with 9 out of 10 runs you do, guaranteed. Form-wise, I mean, I'm sure all these nullsec care bears like to pretend that one side forms less excessively than the other sides habitually, but that's not what I found. It's fairly random. It seems to be fickle. Sometimes you get 2 marauders, sometimes you get 15, sometimes you get nothing, sometimes it's kitchen sink. It's not often tuned to what you're bringing. That's something I have noticed. They tend to just want to push you off and take the ISK themselves. So yeah, it's form wise.
Are you mostly showing up in ESS fits?
Oh, we're trying to keep it light. We're trying to keep it trick centric. So because you're kind of sort of being RP-ish, right? We're trying to be the tricks invading. So I mean, it's like 600-700 mil vet max. It's nothing particularly scary.
Yeah, but I mean, like the Vedmax are ESS, like fit for like Afterburner and such.
Yeah. It's the mids are relatively open. It's just an AB fit.
So when ESS first came out, I was doing a lot of them, but I kind of found what you found. If I do ESSs, I don't get the good fights. I get like exactly what you seem to be finding, and so I kind of just stopped doing like Afterburner fits and just roamed normally again. I use the ESS a lot as dead space to break up people by speed because they can't warp to each other on it. Like I use the outside of the gate, but ESS hunting does seem to get a lot less fights than just normal roaming.
All right, and like to an extent, we're also just farming these key side, right? So if people don't want to form up, that's fine by me because we're getting absurdly rich with relatively little effort. I mean, these keys drag 3.3 bill out of one. I'm farming them, so that's my ISK. Yeah, it's a good day for me, and we might get a fight. Like there's no problem. But what you mentioned, the mechanics for the ESS side, I think, are very well tuned for people to have very fun fights. The AB limitation and the stuff with warping, it makes sure that you can have fights where, like, if somebody brings in a Marauder, you can feasibly play around the Marauder on the grid and just have a fun fight without getting absolutely swamped. It seems to be more player choice and just an attitude of, all right, this seems to be a fair fight. I'm not going to go in. I'll just wait. Or I have 50 buddies. Now we're going to push them off. That seems to be more of a player choice than anything else.
How many folks are you taking in? I'm sorry for interrupting, but yeah, how big of a fleet? I mean, obviously small gang in it, 5, 10, 15. How many are you taking with you roughly?
It's been a bit random. Honestly, just what we have. We've gone out with 3 or 4. We've gone out with 8. We've gone out with 15. Sometimes, like last time we invited, you had Sahara on, I think, on the show a while ago for Totality Day. We fly around and have been in contact with the string beans, the street box, for like since the start of Poshfun, so they tagged along as well. And then we had like 25. But forms are applicable, right? You bring 25, they're not going to form with 25 and have a fun fight. They'll only form if it's 50. And they'll just swamp you or not show up. That's basically what happened.
My favorite one was one guy in a Kiki. I think it was in frat space. He just really and he just sat there for like an hour or two trying to get into the site.
I think it took Fred about a week to realize that they couldn't warp in with things smaller than a cruiser. It was great. They just kept warping back and forth. What's going on?
So like the ESS and like the dead space nature of it is brings a lot of similar aspects to faction warfare complexes to Null. So if anybody's ever fought in FW complexes, they're like ESSs that don't scram you if you enter them, right? Because the ESS has obviously like the scram bubble that's like 75 kilometers across, but just even having the sites in Null, even using just like the outside does add a lot of options for people, and I think they're a fantastic add-on to the game in like every way. ESS.
I mean, I've seen smart people as well, right? I mean, so we've seen it with the normal bank robbing already, because I mean, similar situations apply. It's just less profitable and less high stature, and you don't have to farm the keys, etc. But they were already pulling off like little smart tricks, like warping on your little bubblers and setting on traps on the in gates, and there was a lot of interesting interplay in those sites already. So I think, especially with the new graphics, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they look really cool.
Yeah, I actually love the new graphical interface on the ESSs. I completely agree with everything you're saying. Like, I like the ESS mechanics. I like the outside pocket being a dead space. I like disabling MWDs. on the inside, but that new graphic is just so nice when you're like in a fleet and looking at it.
Yeah, and also it's not like completely disabled in the bubble, right? So if you fly around and have a cool fight long enough, then feasibly stuff with MGDs can still just slowly but surely get out of that little bubble. I mean, nightmares are particularly scary within those sites in the defensive capability, I guess. They can just go anywhere.
Quick question out of the I'll keep cutting Arsia off. Sorry about that. One of the folks in chat are asking if the ESS are the only sites that point and disable micro warp drive, other than some HiSec missions that are behind gates that disallow micro warp. Is that an accurate statement?
Are there any HiSec missions like that?
I have no idea.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
there
one.
are.
It's the first site I've seen that works this way.
Me too,
Well,
yeah.
I didn't know that, yeah. Nick Bison after blowing our minds, everyone.
Holy crap. I actually knew something somebody else didn't. What's going on around here?
Always happens, man. I swear I'm gonna be fucking 50 playing this game. And last time someone told me you can clean your ship. Been playing this game forever. I didn't know that. Now I know why they're sometimes shiny and sometimes messy. That's apparently a thing.
They degrade over time.
Right, and it's terrible where you clean it. It's absolutely terrible idea. Just don't clean your ships, guys. It looks way better if it's filthy.
I actually had a friend of mine playing, flew up next to my Thorax and accused it of being a Minmatar ship because it was so brown and dirty.
Yeah,
Don't make fun of the poor Minmatar ships. They're clean.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's space dust in space. It should be dusty, I think. Unless you're always docked up in a station, then you have a clean ship. That's fine.
I think they get dirtier when you leave them docked.
Yeah, they get dusty when you leave them docked.
It should be the other way around.
They get dirty at the same rate, but like
it's a huge design flaw.
They usually explode and then don't get dirty because they're dead if you undock them.
So you're actually out there, like, it wasn't that long ago we had these new ESS sites drop, like they're in low sec where you actually go farm the keys. So you're actually going out there yourselves farming these keys, right?
Yeah.
So and what were you doing that? I know they've had some changes recently. So like, what were you using to farm the keys before at the very beginning?
A single marauder and just for convenience 2 alts, because you had there's a hacking mechanic in the site. So the old site, you had a landing spot where you have to burn like a couple kilometers to get the gate. And you'd warp in and you'd be in the site, and the site past the gate has a 3-player cap. So you'd come into the first room and there'd be another gate there with some turrets and 2 cans to hack. You have to hack the cans at the exact same time. Well, probably like 10-second interval or 5, something like that. But, you know, a little mini game and communication test. And then the gate opens, and I used to just solo it in a Varger, pretty standard active tank marauder fit. You know, anyone can figure out a fit for something like that. A hefty price tag though, but the site would have 3 groups of rats spaced out in kind of like a V shape. You could just MJD away and, you know, one by one clear the rats while they flew into you. And when you clear all the rats in the site, then you basically pick up a box and it has a key in it.
Do you think the cap of 3 players makes it too safe because people can't come in and kill you?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, still, it's pretty safe. It's better now because it's not as safe. People just, I just don't think it's easy enough to. I think people still need to set up to get kills like this, because you're running them in marauders. So that's not anybody who can just grab guys like that, right? And that used to be a lot safer. Yeah. Right. I mean, any tackle you warp on grid, it being dead spaced, you can't lie Sino, so it's going to have to hold, you know, against any number of marauders, basically. But functionally 2, I guess, if you want to be smart about it. If you can cap up the side at 3, then once you're inside, you're completely safe. No one can just follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now the only thing that's changed, well, a lot has changed. Sites particularly, it's more threatening. But right now it's just an extra marauder. I just use 2 now.
So you're shooting the SCC. You don't get any like negative penalties for doing that, right? No security status down, no Concord giving a crap.
Yeah, there's a standing thingy with Concord that's going down, but I don't really care.
Is it with Concord itself or Edencom?
Right, let me check.
If it's with Concord,
or the SCC as a corp.
It's the Concord Assembly.
Oh wow, you actually lose. Because in the distant past, security status and Concord reputation used to be the same thing, but they're not anymore. So, yeah, that's interesting.
I honestly have not considered the consequences of
your actions.
Of screwing around. I have no idea, to be fair.
Does Concord reputation do anything?
I was just going to say,
they're only in HiSec. Who cares?
Oh well,
who goes there?
Technically speaking, they're not, because you're shooting them in low sec.
Well,
but only the Concord rapid response is in HiSec.
Right. Well, that's why I'm shooting them.
Low sec too.
They're not allowed to be in. They're not allowed to be in low sec. They must be breaking some kind of treaty or something. So that's why they need to be deleted. That's
it may just mean we get shot at if we go into Concord space.
Oh, like Sanctum.
Yeah.
If there's yeah, that's right. So it would only be Concord space, because usually you just have like, yeah, the Galente rats would be on the Galente Stargates or something. It wouldn't be
Concord. Didn't even know that existed.
People.
Yeah, in Genesis, kind of where the Federation meets the Empire, there is a Concord constellation called Sanctum, centered around Uli, which is the home system of Concord. And it used to be that if you went in there, when you were criminal, you just got concorded, but now they have normal like faction place.
Don't go there, Gabe. They're waiting for you.
So before you were on these sites, you had one marauder and your 2 hacking alts, we'll say. Now, with the changes to the sites, you've just had to up it to 2 marauders and 1 hacker?
Yeah, with the particular caveat that the first gate has been removed from these sites. So while you're actually performing the hack and have your 2 or 3 or 1, if you can clear it, you can probably clear it in 1 if you're particularly blingy and, patient, because it'll take a while. But the first room's gone. So anyone with more marauders than you can just warp on you now while you're doing the hack. So that little element makes the site significantly less safe than it used to be, because you can no longer just gate 1 marauder and 2 hack alts in and basically cap out the site. Right now your hack alts are going to be outside in danger while you're trying to run the hack and positioning yourself, because you also warp in at a point that's not near the hacks. You have to fly around 80 kilometers and one of your hackers is going to have to dodge a mine. So you have to spend a little bit of time. You have to sync up your hacks, right? You have to make sure your marauders are fit properly. So you're going to have to refit. It's generally your travel fit, unless you want to die if you do it in 4 and low sec. Right. So there's a lot of different things that you need to do relatively quickly. I've been running them with Kylon and with a couple of other guys just to get in the rhythm of running these sites. But they are most certainly significantly more dangerous than they used to be. And also, and I think that was a point of debate a while ago, quite firmly in Marauder territory. I would not recommend doing this in a Tech 3 cruiser anymore.
Yeah, that's right. At the very start, when we saw these sites, we saw people using Tech 3 cruisers, very blingy. Now it seems to be Marauder territory.
Sutonia, right? Stealing my sites. I noticed you little devil. I know he's on the show sometime. Keeping my eye on you, Sutonia.
So, have you sold any of the keys you've gotten?
Sold? Oh yeah, heaps. Yeah,
that's so you're putting these up on contracts and.
Yeah, well, I used to. I put a couple up on contract. I mean, the way it's set up is that specific regions only supply specific other regions type keys. So you have to farm in different regions of LowSec in order to get all key variants, right? From if you would like to yeet out, for instance, and run any kind of site in any kind of null sec you end up in, you have to farm the keys in multiple regions. But I have a couple contracts by now that buy keys. Some of it, you know, is below the radar because some of these guys are probably trying to do something with it that I don't really care about. But we have some contracts. There's a bit of a market. Yeah, I'm being intentionally vague. I don't want to blow up shit.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I was curious, do you guys prefer like one of the two sides of keys, or does that matter to you at all? Just part of getting out there and having fun?
Honestly, did we run a 45 yet, Kylon? I don't think we have.
Yeah, I don't think we've done one of those yet.
I mean, we've ran triple 15s. That I know, because they just wouldn't form. But honestly, we've ran 15, 20-ish, I think, by now, and we did it a bit ad hoc. So we've decided to farm up a little bit of supply and make it a little bit more of a organized event, like a little bit more of an op. So we plan to have a couple different doctrines also to see how people will respond to the triggering of those 45-minute keys, because we haven't activated them extensively enough in different nullsec regions enough to say anything about that. But I predict they will form, and they will form very hard, excessively hard. So, you know, we need a bit of a plan before we start cashing that cow, I think.
Yeah, someone's just asking there in chat. We are talking about the new, well, they were introduced there a while ago, but the, what's the name of these sites actually? The actual name of the probe scanner?
ESS or SSC Secure Key Storage Facility, I want to say.
SCC,
I can
yeah.
take. Let me go check. Hang on, I found one a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the SEC Key Storage Facility.
The SCC, or the Secure Commerce Commission, is a branch of Concord that regulates interstellar trade. So the universal market, the clusters market, is regulated by the SCC. So when you use the market, you're using an SCC regulated market. And you also know them from the POCOs if there's a planetary customs office that isn't owned by a corp that exists anymore. They go back to SCC owned customs offices. And that's what they were initially when POCOs were released.
Yeah, so these are the sites where you get the keys for the reserve banks, for the ESSs. There is, I mean, there's kind of, the keys are split two ways. You have the 5 and the 15, which is related to how long a hack takes, and then they're also split up by geographical region, as the lads were saying. You get a northeast key, southwest, southeast, and then northwest, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Each of the corners. Yeah, each of the corners.
Yeah, 4 corners.
I'll get a graphic up there now in a minute. But the 5 keys take a 15-minute hack, and the 15 keys take a 45-minute hack. Is that still right?
They're called Northwest 15 or Northwest 45.
Oh, 15 and 45.
Minutes.
Sorry. Yeah. That's right. When they released the very first time on CC, they still had 5 and 15.
Oh,
apologies. Right. So yeah, so it's a 15 or a 45, and that is how long the hack will take in time. So if you get one of these 15 keys.
Yeah, 15 keys is going to drag out around 1.1 bill, and 45 around 3.3, I think, with market rates for the keys being around 950, and for, I don't know, a bit more, 2.9, I think, for the 45s, give or take. But I think that's just people, buying the keys and unlocking their own vaults and taking 300 million profit. But that's my guess. I'm not entirely sure.
I want to correct myself because I was wrong about the POCOs. They were actually Interbus. The bus company owned the POCOs before we did.
That's right. Yeah, Interbus.
Yeah,
POCOs,
Interbus. Yeah. Literally, the space bus owned the POCOs, not the SCC. So I was mistaken.
So
on-air correction. We're on it, man. Thank you.
So that's cool. So that's one nice feature as well about these sites, I think, is that like the various different areas of low sec will have a key for like the far region.
It seems to me that it seems to me like it's sort of mirrored, like northwest, southwest, and southwest northwest. So not southwest northeast. Like it's not crossed, but I'm not sure. It might also be tied to the NPCs. I've not farmed enough of the regions. Actually, I haven't paid attention to it whatsoever. I just find a site and I run it, and that's the extent of the effort I want to put in, to be completely honest. But I just find a key there, and then I go, all right, there's this one. This is great. Now I have another key, and then I go home. That's all I know about the specific regions where they drop. Just go to low sec and you'll get a key, and it's great.
And are these sites quite easy to find? Is there a lot of them? Are they kind of hard? How are you finding like the quantity of these ESS sites in low sec?
Varies. Sometimes you get a bunch, sometimes you don't get a lot of them. I don't think the pool of people that run them is large enough for them to always be cleared when they like pop up in dead end systems. But it's gone up a bit lately. I think more and more people have started farming them. They are. If you look around for a day, you'll find 2 or 3 if the region you're scanning is large enough. It's more the access, obviously, that's going to be tricky. Getting to the sites is the hard part, because most of these low secs you're gonna contend with us or snuff or a bunch of scary guys with a bunch of sinos. You don't really want to warp or gate marauders through their space. So you need to be a little bit inventive if you don't have access to those regions to get to them. But yeah, you find them pretty quickly. If you scan around data site level 2, it can be one.
One thing I found as well is if you have the rats, those specific rats on your overview, you can descan them.
Yeah, that's also true. I haven't even considered that. That's really smart. Thank you.
That's actually how we found a few of the sites.
Right.
Just moving around. Oh, look, the SCC rats are on descan.
Yeah, we stage in a low sec space, so for me it just falls in my normal go find the static to Porsche routine, and when I find one, I just scan.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So when you're not farming ESS key sites and you're not going out there stealing all the money out of the reserve banks, what are you doing with orcas and filaments?
You're up, Cosmic. Command the Cosmic duty.
This is what I do. So I use the orca basically as like a little station, so it carries all my mining ships, and I just filament out to null and just take what I want basically. So the orca kind of sits cloaked, and it carries all my ore, and then I have the best mining ships in the game, expedition frigates, and I use them to mine out what I want.
Are you going for like gas or Mercoxit or like stealing people's R64s?
I normally go for Mercoxit a lot of the time, but when I need ice, I also go for that too.
Yeah, if you've been watching the market, the crash in Mercoxit, we should be calling it the Great Commander Cosmic Crash of 2000. What year is it? I don't know. I forget.
YC 123.
The year of still Corona, I guess. That year.
YC 123
Right.
in
single-handedly crashed the entire market. This guy.
I was clearing out a lot of null-sec systems. If your Mercoxit wasn't there, it might have been me. I'm sorry.
Sitting at work, looking at this stream, just chugging away on the rocks. It's great.
Have you ever stole somebody's R64? Because I always used to find that fun.
I haven't tried that yet, but now I'm thinking.
So like that was like the most fun I ever had with mining. And I'm not normally like a miner or PvE player at all, but stealing other people's stuff feels like PvP, right?
It's great, right?
Mining on like a hostile state, like a red Athenor, like yeah, don't mind us.
Tastes better because it's not allowed, Arsia.
Yeah, no.
That's the guy's better. It's against the rules.
It's like twice as sweet if you steal it from reds.
I was out in nullsec exploring at one point, and I knew there was like 2 or 3 wormholes in system, and local spike by about 20, and I started hitting D-scan, and it was a porpoise and like a bunch of mining exploration frigates. And I was talking to them on local, and they were like, "Don't mind us. We're just going to go steal some moons." So, like, they came in through a wormhole, ran over. I ended up talking to them. They had a spy alt in whoever owned the space I was in, so they had a rough idea of when the moons would be out of timer, and then came along in their expedition frigates and their porpoise for their boosts, mined all the ore, and ran away again.
That's great.
I love that kind of fun guerrilla style of play. I think it's hilarious. So was doing this ninja mining easier when the war was going on for you?
It's definitely a little bit more dead when the war was going on. But I did land one jump from 1DQ a few times in the Orca, but I survived somehow.
You're supposed to take the noise filament, not the signal, right?
That was from a noise as well. I just kind of had a chat with them and then just filamented to the next part of nullsec.
That's
Do you
hilarious.
use Thera too to also aid yourself moving around?
I don't use Thera personally, no. I mainly just use Potron.
Though we probably should.
Thera is amazing, especially if you're filamenting through null.
Yeah.
Sometimes you land just a couple jumps from it.
It's one of those things, those Thera walls. Like when I started playing, somebody told me, "Don't go there. That's very scary." And
It's
I was
not
still
scary.
it probably isn't, but I just haven't yet. I still haven't entered one in all those years.
I love Thera. Thera is like my favorite.
I will go to Thera. You're right.
But
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say Potron's just so convenient because I don't know if you know about the clay filaments like Svarog bellies. They'll drop you within a few jumps of a certain system you want, basically.
Yeah, because the Pochvan is split into 3 constellations, one dedicated to each clade of the Triglavian collective. The Velas, the Savrog, and the Perun. I can't say Svrog. How do
Svarog.
Svarog, yeah.
That's where we live, and we hate drones, so we kill drones.
Yeah.
It's laughing.
I'm used to being up in Velas space.
So yeah, if you're living in Potron and say you live in one of the clades, you know you're going to be at least 3 jumps from your home by using this filament. So literally anywhere in the game you are, you're going to be able to get home, which is a massive advantage.
Yeah, like right now, when I was really confused about the system Cosmic linked me to go to, and now I'm in someone's staging, and they've bobbled the shit out of the gates. But it's no problem, because I'm on a safe, and now I'm home. But
Another thing about Thera is that since the Caldari state got wrecked, no matter where you are, not Thera. Another thing about Pochvan is since the Caldari state got wrecked during the invasions, you're always close to Jita. So you can always be right out and buy another ship or something.
right, you just set your def clone in Jita, and generally make sure you know the system you go into. You can generally find a 5 or 6 jump wormhole straight into any of the pipes. It's really convenient. Or you can just film it in, right?
Yeah. Or exit and go to Jita and sell your ore or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, it's all really convenient.
Yeah, presumably when you're filamenting back to K-Space from your mining expeditions, you're looking to get close to Jita to sell that ore.
I mean, I filament back to Trig Space because I'm based there, so I can do all my refining and compressing, and then I can just use a small ship to ship it out to any market I want, basically.
Yeah, so because those filaments, is it the glorification that will take you out to?
Glorification is a random Triglavian minor victories. I think the extraction is the nearby system.
Yeah.
Extraction's a bit like having the wormhole to HiSec or LowSec.
Yeah, so if you pick a system that used to be in Forge and you extract, you're going to be in Forge, give or take.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
So, glorification is minor victories, like random. You could end up in any one of the 28 Triglavian minor victories. Those are systems that were won by the Triglavians during the invasion, but they weren't the right type of star to be liminal, right?
Yes, yeah, and they like we still have the Edencom.
Edencom has 81 minor victories, but they don't really do anything.
I mean,
There's no Edencom. I mean, maybe they kill some of you, but that's about it.
I've been making a lot of money off the minor victories. I'll just say that.
With the mining bonus or something.
Shh, don't tell her. Don't tell her.
I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
She's the enemy. She's the enemy.
You're killing them.
No, don't tell her. She's going to ruin everything, Cosmic.
Well, don't tell her. Don't tell Arsia. However, I'm kind of curious. You can whisper it to me.
Let's just say if your mining bonus is gone.
Oh, you're shooting the thing that makes the system bonus?
Yeah.
Wait, you can shoot that thing?
Yeah, you can destroy them.
I don't know how much you should.
You can do it in Podfund too. You can take away the system effects if you shoot it. You need to go into like the site at the sun with like cruisers.
How did I not know that? That's awesome.
How long does it last for? Is it gone forever, or is it?
No, it recomes. It rebuilds.
It's gone for an obnoxious long amount of time, though.
Yeah.
It's great.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, my mind is blown. I did not know this at all.
So that's kind of how we attack Edencom, because we've been attacking Nullsec, but I like to think we're attacking K-Space as well. So.
You like to just give us a big old raspberry and take away the.
I mean, everybody keeps saying that invasion shouldn't end, so we're just being responsible.
Yeah, the evasion's kind of still there, really.
All right, just now form upping something that's not 25 Marauders for a couple of Epmax, and we can go ahead and have some fun. Yeah.
Maybe in one of the low-sec Minmatar minor victories where we have the web bonus.
So for anyone who isn't aware, the minor victories, like the Triglavian systems or the Edencom systems, they have certain effects that are still in those systems, kind of like the weather effects, right? So in the Edencom systems, you get a mining speed bonus.
You get a different bonus depending on what empire it is. Like you always get the mining speed bonus, but Galente get a warp core scram strength bonus. So like +2 points if you scram somebody. Minmatar get a web strength bonus, so you can have like super vindicators or something like that. Kaldar, we have like 2 Kaldari minor victories, so I don't know what the bonus is. I think Amar do they get a TV bonus?
I think Amar get newts, I think.
Newts, all right.
Armor as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, either armor or shield reps. And Triglavian systems get armor reps and minus locked targets and minus warp speed.
Yeah, it's a 50% reduction in locked targets for Triglavians, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
like
terrible.
when we had that Podfund war, that was affecting a lot of how you have to fly because it's different than anywhere else. Like instead of doing like 1 up, 1 up, down on the Guardians, everybody did 2 down just to get an extra lock because you only have 4 or 5, right? Depending on what ship you are.
Yeah, that's really tough. Actually, just thinking about that, how would Logi and you got to be very quick dropping targets, picking up new ones.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of good because more stuff dies.
Just because it's harder to rep them.
Yeah, because Logi is like super, super strong. And I think that negative bonus actually makes the fights. I think fights where like one side doesn't die and the other side gets wiped out are stupid. Like, I think they're really stupid.
They're very lopsided, while you prefer a more balanced fight, I guess.
I like the fights where like everybody on both sides dies and there's like a coercer left. There's like nothing left.
Oh, no,
those are the most
was a great
memorable
success.
to me. Like the Where Showed at Asbel, where like we literally suicided a battleship fleet, but we won the objective. Like at the last second.
You had me so confused. I was streaming at the Matterhorn, I think, at the time, and I was just saying to him, like, pack it up, Gran. It's not gonna. It's packing the shit up. No more. And I'm like checking back in my ult. It's like, what's that big explosion? It's not supposed to happen. Where's the Asbel?
I remember right at the end when I was trying to ECM you off, but it was too.
I think that's actually the only time that we've been at war, Cosmo.
Yeah. Well, I like to think I'm at war with everyone. That's how I like to think.
Right.
Everyone that isn't Triglavian, anyway.
Alliances of opportunity.
They are not proven, so
Right.
they must be expiated.
That's amazing. That's really fascinating. And are you guys looking forward to the anniversary next week, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, Cosmic's doing something for that, actually.
Oh,
Or
yeah?
fly. I think we're
Aren't you?
doing a Nurgle room. I think toast.
But wasn't it the mining stuff that you were doing? I'm confused.
I think we
I
were
don't
doing a Nurgle room, but
I can do a
do
Nurgle
mine.
room.
yeah. I do the mining
Look.
stuff every day. So
It's the good thing about pushing. You do whatever you want any day. Go anywhere.
I'll post this again in chat here. We had Sahara Jackal on there a couple of weeks ago to talk to us about this. This is from the 9th to the 16th of October. And I think it's the 12th. Kind of the middle of the week is the actual anniversary. What day is the anniversary?
The 13th? Is it the
13th.
13th?
13th.
Because that's when
13th,
the
yeah.
parade is happening.
That's right.
During
Sorry,
the
it is. It's the
Brutality Day.
Wednesday.
Yeah, and
Wednesday
I think-
the 13th.
And you got a couple of events, I think. What is it? A road actual PvP fleet. You got a Damavik Swarm event for the Cybernauts. And I think there's a 50-man player brawl as well one of the
At
days.
the spot of the
Right.
at the Fortizar, I think. Is it
Right,
the
and
Fortizar?
Yeah, they are the Asbel fight, I think. I think it's the side of the... I don't know, actually. I
It's
assume...
either the side of the Asbel or the Fortizar. They're really close to one another, like within
That's
an
one of the
AU.
two.
And that's actually like that isn't just a 15-man fight. That is multiple 15-man fleets, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like-
and I'd like to also encourage everyone who's bored, you know, if you think you can do something in a solo ship, just come screw everything up. It's got to be massive. It's got to be massive.
I think they have a War Stories event too in Senda, where people meet and talk in local about the war stories from the invasion.
And I do believe CCP is after getting like this was a player pushed event from the start, and then CCP has gotten involved. So I think there's also going to be a Proving Grounds event that is related to
Yeah.
this.
I'm not sure if you're going to be able to
Kiki
get
Mars?
the filaments. Yeah, the Kikis. Yeah, 333 Kiki. They drop from the current drone event sites, and I'm not gonna. I think that ends tomorrow. I assume they might be able to be farmed elsewhere after that, probably in data sites or something. But
on the
yeah,
map.
right now you can get them. Yeah, you can get them from there. We've got a couple already.
Like all of the Empire holidays, like Liberation Day and Federation Day and all that, were started with player run events. So I think this is kind of going along that same path where the Triglavian players are
Yeah,
running,
and kudos for Sahara's been
their
setting
own
all that
holiday
stuff
day.
up. Sorry,
Yeah.
I went through you.
No worries.
Yeah, it's great. I remember seeing the post, and I was like, okay, I immediately have to get Sahara on and kind of push it because like it's great content. Like
That woman is an absolute machine, man. She was complaining, paperwork and bureaucracy and all this work with the defense and the stuff, and she said, I need to take a break. So yeah, you need to take a break, and she goes straight into organizing Totality Day like an absolute machine. It's amazing because she's doing a lot of this stuff, right? That's Sahara, and I think that's laudable.
yeah, absolutely, it's a credit to, and you know the whole team. All the guys that are in Poshvin, all the girls that are in Poshvin. It's great. I'm really looking forward to taking part in it next week. I'm actually really I really like Poshvin. I don't go there enough for the PvP. I kind of use it as a super highway, a bit like the Terra wormholes.
Right.
There's definitely some events here that are good fun.
Right, and I'm not sure if I speak for everyone, but if you want to fly around and do some of the stuff that we do with us, just to see what we're doing, you're always welcome. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure if Commander Cosmic wants to break OPSEC with I don't know.
If someone wanted to get in on flying with y'all, how would they contact you?
Toast probably, Zero, I think, or Kylon.
Yeah, Zero Kylo. Probably get you.
Yep.
Man of many words.
You can just look up Bread Fleet.
Right.
And find us from there if you want to.
Yeah, Bread Fleet and what is it? Doe Fleet, I think, the old corp.
Yeah, Doe fleets are like trading cup until you get 3.0 standing with the trigs.
Oh,
So that's a good point there, because otherwise someone may try and hop in and just get spanked right off the bat by the trigs, which not what you want. Well,
Yeah.
could be. You never know.
That's like a baptism for people that visit Potion for the first time. The trigs kill them on the wormhole on the way in. It's inevitable.
I have been baptizing new players, finding them in ventures, bringing them in and mining with them in Potion. Like, Filament them in.
So how do the trigs kill them on the wormhole on the way in? If they warp straight to the wormhole bookmark, they land at 0 and can just jump. And then Eden comes on the other side.
Well, a lot of the newest players, some of them aren't that quick to enter the wormhole or have never entered a wormhole before. And,
Yeah, the first time, if you've never entered the
hesitate at
wormhole,
all, you're done. If you hesitate at all, you're done. So,
And sometimes you forget an alt. It happens.
As well, actually, you get that pop-up that stops you.
Oh,
yes.
God.
So
Yeah.
like if you're brand new, you get that whether you went to low sec or a wormhole,
Oh,
you get
yeah.
that pop-up that says
that's just slowing you down.
That pop-up
Yeah.
has probably killed more people than it saved.
oh yeah,
I mean, maybe not if they're jumping from high sec to low sec, but
But I
dangerous
would
space.
encourage people just to Filament in, because compared to the amount of money you're making in HiSec, that's like slave wage. But like, take one Filament to Pochvin and you're making like a lot more. So last night's like the second best mineral in the game. So I'm very surprised that there's not a lot more people mining in it.
how much like if I took a venture in, so what is that, like 5,000 meters cubed? How much ISK is a full venture load?
Venture is probably, just trying to think. It might be
Sure,
around
like-
3 or 4 mil.
So, like, if you're neutral with the trigs, like 0, you can dock at the stations and just drop it too.
Yeah, but the trigs
no,
also.
I think you have to have 0.01 standing.
I
Just
thought docking was
or
like
no, is it-
negative
It's
0.05.
negative. No,
Yeah.
you're right. It's negative 0.1.
Like I'm no chance because I'm still like -5, right? But
You can dock, but you actually need trig standing to use the services as well.
yeah, but you can store the ore and keep getting more.
Yeah. Normally I'll help new players, so I'll have like a little cargo ship. And then when they drop off the ore to me, I'll just like pay them straight away type thing.
But yeah, by default, if you've never interacted with the trigs or Edencom before, the trigs will shoot you. Edencom won't.
What do you think of the dual standings that became possible by shooting drifters and drones in Pochvin?
Terrible.
Yeah,
Pick
I
a side.
agree.
Pick a side already. Jesus. Sorry.
I agree. No, I agree.
I don't have a
No.
filter. I think it's terrible.
Go on. Go. I agree. Say more.
Right? Yeah. No. What's the point? Right? I got this mail. Take your shit out. Pick a side. Oh man, this is a really important decision. And no, it's not. I can
And
just
what-
farm. What?
What really makes no sense to me is Edencom really likes it when you defend Pochvin from rogue drones, but you shoot rogue drones like in the empires that they should actually care about, and they don't care. Like,
My unfiltered opinion about this is that this shit gets ruined because CCP keeps pampering to people who just don't put enough effort into the game 9 out of 10 times. And then they complain, and this is too hard, and that's too hard, and they change all sorts of stuff, like they take away all the rats, and it just they remove all the sharp edges, and what's left just doesn't make a whole lot of sense anymore. Because people were crying that they got killed by trigs on the way home. Yeah.
So, like, what I'm gonna say is that, as somebody who fought for Edencom's side, with the dual standings being a thing, and Edencom standing doing absolutely nothing, I feel like I was punished for participating in the event.
Right, and that's also completely valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also silly. You didn't get a reward at all for having picked a side.
I got my armor and my jacket for
Right.
character and like nothing. All right.
Right, you're advocating for more rewards for Edencom, and I'm advocating
advocating
for
like right now.
consequences.
Neither side really has good rewards for their.
Nah,
like I think both sides need some more stuff.
Ah.
But the problem is with the dual standing thing, it's hard to actually reward the people who fought during the invasion, because
Yep.
now you're rewarding people who just went in and farmed both sides.
Well,
after
you could just say it out loud. You've rewarded Goon Swarm. That's the only thing you've done. Because that's the end net result of all the Potion changes so far. It's an extension of Null, where, you know, a boatload of guys just run around that outnumber everything that used to be small and local. And right, that's the net result that you get of having no consequences tied to those standings whatsoever. And the gates being removed, arguably a good or a bad thing. I think there's merit to both sides, but it did remove another, you know, consequence from that entire equation.
I think the gates should have been either Trig or Edencom standing. Like Edencom hacked the gates or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard you said that before. That'd be a great idea. Absolutely.
Because then we could still have like the fights between us and stuff, but people had to like do something to. They had to pick a side, right?
Right. Well, not really.
No, like if that was the situation.
Oh yeah, then they would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It was too niche, I guess.
As someone who actually has dual standings on like all of my characters, so I don't get ganked at HiSec.
And I don't blame
Same
you.
here. Same
I
here.
don't blame you. It's just, you know, I can't blame you. It just feels wrong.
I was multi-boxing like most of my alts during the invasion, so like.
I mean, I like the way some of these people are doing content in Potion, right? If you just have positive standings with both, you can do so much to counter all those observatory fleets, because Edencom doesn't shoot you, and you can do all sorts of. There's so many benefits to doing
A
it.
lot
You
of
can't really.
cheesing that can happen.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't blame people for just grabbing that with two hands and going, "Yeah, thank you, CCP." I know it makes no sense, but you designed the game, so right.
Yeah, way too many benefits for not picking a side, and I'm personally not. I'd like to expand that your earlier thought on the standings meaning something. Think of how many people are pirates roaming through a different empire space, and you get the little warning on the gate, but they really never catch you. How about if you couldn't dock other than at NPCs you have positive standings with? It'd cut down a little bit of that noise too.
Right. Yeah. Put a lot more value on the specific structures, placements,
That's also with
circumvene the faction.
With the faction navies, not the faction navies, the faction police being so easy to get around. You can get them like aggroed on a drone, and then you have free reign in the system until the drone's dead. Drones are dead. So you can like join the enemy militia and like go to your enemy's like trade hub and like camp, and the police don't do anything about it because they're too busy shooting your drones or whatever.
It's in that regards, Potion is exactly like every other bit of New Eden space. It's gimmicky as fuck. It's just the way it is. I think this is what we have, and it's cool for what it is. It's awesome space.
I mean, I think the art team did like an amazing job.
Oh yeah, but they kind of always do, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
The entire game just looks awesome. I'm just sitting next to the sun, and I'm not bored just looking at it. It's great. I
kind of feel like with the invasions in general, like there was a lot of really good that came out of them. It's just kind of the ending and how it wrapped up was not handled as well as it could have been.
Yeah, I think it loses momentum, right? Because you see with the Triglavian invasion, you see how much people actually enjoy that sort of stuff, even if not everybody is happy, because their wave, gaming changes. It does get the entire play group excited. So that's sort of stuff, that little bit of intrigue, that what's coming next element that needs. If that momentum can be maintained, it's great.
A lot of where the problem came from is that they didn't expect what happened to happen. They expected the same kind of engagement that happened with Chapter 2 to happen in Chapter 3. They expected no organized Edencom resistance. They expected a small, tiny, little few Triglavians fighting locals who lived in a system.
Those poor 2 devs, man.
And they got
terrible.
2 gigantic sides. They got 2 gigantic organized sides that just kind of, that's not what they expected.
I don't know how Sledgehammer is still alive. I don't understand that period. It was those guys were doing so much work.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 guys for that entire stuff, right? 2 devs, I think. I mean, holy shit, they were working like crazy. Great guys.
Yeah, and like you had the players with you know, like the EU FCs were up and they were fighting, and then they'd hand off to the American FCs who would carry on the fighting during the night. And then, I mean, like Arsia, how long did you go for?
God, like, name a system and it's most of them going to be like 12 hours, 16 hours, 14 hours.
Crazy.
I did take breaks, but there's a lot of systems where it's just like more than half a day straight. Like,
Yeah, I think I did 12 hours in the Arsia.
I started enjoying it a lot more when I started focusing on flying with Lux Invicta over like the public part of the fleet. Not that anybody couldn't have joined, but we had like the kitchen sink fleet and then like the organized like doctrine fleet. And I started focusing on that, and that was mostly like the role players, and that I super enjoyed.
Yeah, we had something very similar. With,
yeah, you had Zeta and Swarm, right?
Yeah, and I kind of did the same thing during the last half of it. I really kind of got tired of the HiSec part of the liminality and started showing up for the. Well,
there were a lot of good
fights
in the.
Didn't come in till then, you know.
There were a lot of good fights between the sides during the second half, like Allah and Archie and Angry Man, and yeah, like there were actually a lot of pretty amazing PvP conflicts during the invasion.
Oh, Pushman's still good for a lot of that stuff still.
Well, yeah, we had like
PvP,
gigantic war
PvP,
there like a couple months ago.
And PvP is still very active. Just go around solo roam, small gang roam.
There was a big fight yesterday between it was like Fraternity and AOM, I think. In what system was that in Poch? It was Pochvan.
Nalbula?
Yes.
Is that the Marauder Dunk? Is that the Golem guy?
No, it was Anathanor got destroyed. We caught that Golem guy once. I was streaming when we caught that Golem guy.
Oh yes, that's I've seen that video.
I think he got dunked last week as well. I think
he did.
No, the thing is,
days ago.
He gets dunked a lot, but he like makes enough money that it's worth it. Like World Arcs are no joke.
Yeah, those are exceptionally good size to run.
Yeah. We ran a lot of them during the invasions, and they were more profitable back then. The prices have come down a bit, but they're still super profitable.
Yeah, and Potion's developed in a fun way since then. It's been a lot of like beta still, right? You know the crab sliders, the guys that
the seagulls, right?
Yeah, the seagulls. Yep, they're still there.
That's fixed, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like these guys, they swapped around. They're flying different stuff. They're still screwing around with people running those ops fleets. They're doing great. It's
now small gun PvP stuff.
But
right, there's a lot of stuff.
Not getting paid for not doing a thing.
Oh, you have no idea. My boy Peter is definitely getting paid. That boy does not have any money problems whatsoever.
I just found that Athenor there. It was a Fraternity one that died to Roll Capel and AOM.
AOM and Snuff, I think.
That's what he was talking about with Snuff. Yeah, all right. I think that's what Matana was talking about yesterday.
Oh yeah, that would be related.
Yeah, there was a structure that blew up. I think it was a week or two ago. So
you do you buy into the idea that something's going to happen when all the structures in Pochvan die?
No. Stop parroting that ridiculous tinfoil Nuria idiocy. It's
I mean, I don't believe it either, but I think it's a fun conspiracy theory.
Well, kind of go through that conspiracy theory. I'm unfamiliar with it.
So, all right. So, as you may know, in Pochvan, you cannot anchor new structures. So the structures that were there before they were dragged to space, the systems were dragged to space hell, are all the structures that will ever be there. So there's an idea because we talked about the anchorage having the gates that are off right now. So there's an idea that once all of the structures in Pochven are destroyed, once the final one is destroyed, the gate to Bujan is going to open up, which is like the Trig's like ancestral home. And I don't think it's the case, but I think it's a fun conspiracy theory.
Officially, I think it's a load of crap, but I do hope it's true and that they come for my structures, because that would be fun. Come on already.
I wonder would they ever add a like could you ever foresee them adding a system where you could anchor structures even if it required like 9 standing with Triglavians or something?
They mentioned something, didn't they?
So we saw on HoboLeaks things like the Edencom Astor House. I think it'd be kind of fun if like Edencom and Trig's anchored structures, and standings controlled the access.
Yeah.
And they worked normally otherwise with like timers and stuff, and we could have like a fight continue on like that.
I don't know. I just to go back to the standings, like I remember when Pochven first opened, and even to traverse the systems, you needed quite high standings to use the gates.
Yeah.
And then they announced that they were going to do something with them, and like I thought they would keep them. I just thought they'd make them lower. I thought maybe what was it? It was like 1, 2, and 3 or something, or 1, 3, and 5.
1, 3, 7, I think.
Yeah, it was very high, and I said, okay, maybe they'll go 1, 3, 5, and that'll just make it a bit easier. But I did like that idea that traveling through Pochven was gated in a way, 'cause as you said, once they lowered the standings, it allowed much bigger groups and all sec blocks and bigger blocks to just kind of steamroll through the place.
Right, and it started with that whole whatever eviction of the Weirshota Streetball guys was a big conglomeration of all kinds of different groups.
Well, and that started with them attacking us. Like it started, we were the defenders, and then we just struck back, and everybody piled on into the fight.
Yeah, because they'd already attacked RC as well a while ago, so they probably didn't need a lot of convincing either. I don't know. I just suddenly heard that we were starting to shoot some people. So.
Well, as the fights got bigger, more and more people piled in.
Yeah,
and that's
probably
like never good for a
Red Bomb, Shadow, and stuff.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen just more small gangy stuff, 10 to 50, rather than having 500 pilots fly in.
I mean, there's a lot.
Well, to be fair, it's not 500. I mean, it's 50, right? Max.
I mean, there were fights where we formed like 80.
No, I thought we were talking about what flies around right now.
Oh.
Am I confused or?
No, I just went with those very large fights where, like, I would have preferred to seen it being more the Trigs and the Edencoms or like the Lumen people, rather than just having outside influences just immediately be able to come in and kind of third party.
Yeah, but that's also a thing, right? A lot of these outward influence are often not really outward influence, because all these places and all these people got pulled from all these different backgrounds as well. So you pull in one part, that's RC, you pull in one part, that's this, you pull in one part, that's that, and you got all these small invested groups that are, Streetball had natural ties to Goons, the Toast had natural ties to Goons and Horde and Art. It was all interweaved. So it was really hard not to escalate, especially when those gates opened, because that removed any excuse, right? Because you just go.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Right? And they always, to an extent, were primed to do something like this, because the alliances were always inside of Pochven. They were always having contact with all these little different groups with engagements, and Streetball had a particular reputation of just shooting every single structure that was in Pochven and not theirs as well in the early stages. So they ruffled everyone's feathers to an extent, right? In small quantities here and there. So gates gone, all that flows in, and that's what you have.
Oh yeah, that's how like the war started. They hit one of our structures in Scarcon that actually went down in one of the fights, and then came for our other structure, and we successfully defended it and started hitting them back, and it just escalated out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Maldavians apparently had made a couple of not so good impressions on a couple of people that were able to mobilize as well. I know a couple of guys that were quite passionate about their resentment towards that group, and it varied in different ways. But all sorts of groups had interest there for a long time. It's a bit weird how it came to head, but it was really cool. It's great.
Yeah, it resulted in one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Right, and the weird thing as well, flying for years with Cosmic and Kylon, and on that fight, they're on the opposite side. That's how weird that fight was, right? For Poshveners as well, because I'm just as local to Poshven as these guys are, just a different system from a different region with a different background. It's a weird hodgepodge still.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing over 11 years, and the Hultheimer fight for that Asbel is probably the hypest fight, at least the hypest ending to a fight that I've ever been a part of. Just because, like, it was like even TIS packed their bags up and said, "Oh, Asbel's saved." We have like an internal meme about that.
Sorry, it's my fault.
No, it's so funny. I love it. Right, and then with just like a minute left, we just drop all of our stuff on, and we're like, "Don't shoot anything but the Asbel," and it worked.
Yeah, and apparently they were celebrating already.
Yeah, they were celebrating.
That's what they were celebrating. So it's a classic tale. It's such a classic tale. It's ridiculous.
It's like those guys that are like cycling in the Tour de France, and he's coming up to the finish line. He starts celebrating, and his bike falls off. He ends up on the ground.
Yeah, I was the first primary when they landed.
Well, you would be. One, your name starts with an A, and two, you have a reputation.
Yeah.
So, just while we have you here as well, and then you guys seem to be a bit of a rogue band of reckless guys. Have you tried these new capital sites yet on CC?
No, but I will.
I mean, I
guess I'll let you know.
Yeah,
some of the people in EM have been trying them on CC.
Yeah. I know a couple of guys. I think it's going to be. I mean, it seems to be. You have to use a cap. You turn it on for a minute, and you're stuck there. Then no. You turn it on for a minute, it sends out a ping, then you're stuck for 4 more minutes with 50% additional resists, and after that you can warp your cap out if you want to, and not use it to run the site. As far as I know, shit just warps into a beacon, and you can, it's pretty firmly a Marauder / Hall Dread kind of turf, but I've not tested it myself yet.
So the complaint that I kept hearing is that the rats aren't very interesting. They're just like a lot of very basic NPCs.
Don't know yet. I'd have to try it. I'm not really a CC guy. I think it's cheating.
You'd rather risk the ships on the live server and learn the hard way?
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't like it to be solved before it even goes live.
That's the entire game arc of EVE is risk versus reward. If I deprive myself of the risk, then I deprive myself of the reward. It's pretty basic.
That's a great. No, I think you're dead right. I think it's a very good attitude.
Make it easier so it's less fulfilling. This is how it works.
Yeah, I heard there was they released these sites let's say on the first day, and they had a small update to the rats on the second one, but right now it does look like I think Hall Dread seemed to be the ship of choice to run them in.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, I was holding out hope for maybe Zunitra or something. It would have been cool if that hull would have gotten, another niche to fill, but it seems to be a pretty solid requirement on tracking. So since you can warp it off, you can probably also do Marauders, but I'm not entirely sure yet.
I think on the first day people were losing Marauders. There was like a little bit too much DPS for Marauders to handle. But again, I know they're tweaking them, and there will be lots of tweaks before they hit Tranquility and go live.
Right, and one thing that might be of note might be trick related content. I hear it's dropping the red Triglavian loot and the Drone-Mutations and all sort of stuff. So possibly that's something that's a little bit expensive on what we have for tricks now, maybe.
Yeah, the new mutaplasmids for like drone damage amplifiers and also for drones themselves seem to be dropping. And yeah, you're right. It isn't just a ISK payout, like a wallet bounty payout. It is loot.
No,
which you
yeah,
have
the
to
red loot.
NPC. Yeah, you have to take to the NPCs. I love that idea because then you can, you risk a chance of getting ganked or blown up with it.
Yeah, it's great. And it also seems like those mutaplasmids are like a stack or something. So like how you apply them might also, I was kind of afraid that I'd have to apply one mutaplasmid to one drone at a time. That would become very tedious very quickly, I think.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a stack of those.
Yeah, it's like one mutaplasmid for 5 drones, I think, which is like a solid number.
Yeah,
It's like
great.
a flight of drones, right?
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah, Gillas, let's go. Gillas and rattlesnakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Or worms.
Can you mutaplasmid a gecko?
No.
I was going to say that'd be
Crazy.
Juicy. And the new drone implants from the drone sites give them like 25% more HP. That'd be great.
oof. Garista ships are already like so strong.
Right. I mean, Abyssal Gillas, let's go.
I think it's just it's a T1, T2, and like Navy drones you can mutaplasmid.
What, not the augmented? Oh,
maybe the augmented. Let me double check HoboLeaks.
And what about the drones that drop in the event site? What are they called? The SV bloody blue. I don't remember. The new.
Yeah, the new ones.
I don't know how accurate their market price is, but I looked at one of them earlier, and it seemed to be going for like 100 mil or something. It might be a really good drone. I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet.
Go check it out.
Yeah, I just looted it.
Yeah, it's integrated, augmented, and Navy drones as well as Tech 1 and Tech 2.
All right, cool.
Yeah, light, medium, heavy, and then sentries, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be great. That's a cool market. It's a high volume market. I think that's cool.
I definitely think like the Abyssal PvE runners will really like them, and I think like a lot of PvP runners will like them.
Like wormhole rattlesnakers and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Shield spider dummies, nesties.
I think I'm definitely going to mutaplasmid some drones though. See what it looks like.
Yeah. And then you got to farm them then, right? I think it's what are the sites going to be in? I know they're going to be in nullsec. I'm not sure if they're going to be in high or whatever.
No, it's the capital sites will be in low and null.
All right.
Yeah, so you'll be able to farm them kind of anywhere, same as the ESMCs. And if things like usually, CCP has a way of putting the better rewards in the low sec sites. I think I'd like to see them.
Me too. Yeah, great. More stuff for low sec. I'm all for it. totally not biased at all.
I mean, it's the most dangerous space because you can't really own it, and people can't really be kicked out because there's NPC stations. So it makes sense to have them be the most rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And like we saw that with the usual like Empire days as well. Like right now with the Rogue Drone event, like the best loot is in low sec, and it is the most dangerous.
Oh man, I've made bank on those. They've been absolutely amazing in low sec. They do seem to change, so it might be a bias or a slight bias, but I always get the distinct impression that these sites are significantly more profitable early on. So I'd like to recommend everybody with these events to start right away. But yeah, they've been very lucrative.
Yeah, usually the first day or two you can capitalize on the market and set whatever price you want for the drops.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they changed the loot.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
From what you from your experience running them?
Yeah, I've farmed 9 bill in OPUs.
Wow.
That's not the loot I sold. So I've ran quite a couple, and I've noticed a significant decrease in loot. And you know how that goes, right? That's always but I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure that I get the impression more often that they make the events a little bit more exciting in the beginning to reel people in. That might not be true. I'm not trying to, I wouldn't mind them if they did, because it's a good way to get people interested. It's awesome. But, it does mean that you just need to start those event sites right away. I'm pretty sure that that's how it works. But,
And as well, actually, it would make sense because of the the very first day or two, people are still learning them, what fits work, what fits don't. By the second or third day, generally, whether it's kind of in a Discord or through a corp or friends, someone will give you a fit that will do it no problem, right? Oh, just fly this and perma run your tank, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It kind of becomes easy mode.
Right. And for this one, we just use Kikis. It's pretty simple. Just 2 of them, remote rep, you can clear them. Data sites were really good as well.
Data sites have been fantastic. I've done a couple of data sites, and I was very happy with the drops in low sec. Really good implants, and those boosters, those new boosters, I really like actually. The scanning boosters.
Yeah. So it's good to have.
So it's a shame they're going to expire. I kind of was hoping they'd stick around a little bit longer.
Oh, then I guess I need to trade the boosters to you, Kylon. The event's over, right? Yeah, I was going to give them to Kylon.
Yeah, I better start using those more then.
Yeah, Mr. Scanny Scan.
Quicker, definitely.
All right, so are you guys, I mean, this may have been asked earlier, but are you guys all in the same core alliance? Where are y'all from?
Me and Kylon are from Toast, which includes Bread Fleet.
Kind of the reason I bring that up again, and I know we answered that like in the first 5-6 minutes of the show, is, we've got quite a few more people here now than we did at that point, as in like 60 more. So thought it might be important to reintroduce yourself.
Oh, all right. Yeah, they're Toast. An alliance that got sucked into Porsche through a region that they used to be in from K-Space. And I'm tied to RC, and RC had some structures pulled into Porsche as well. A couple guys wanted to do Porsche stuff, so we fly around in there. And it's just a hodgepodge band of different loosely associated gangs. We fly around with the Streetwalk sometimes, and with the Carab Slider sometimes, and with this and that. It's all, neighbors.
We became friends because we're neighbors.
Right. Well, functionally, we became friends because one of you assholes blew up my Legion when I tried to kill them in the shop. That's functionally how it became. Like I was flying around going like, hey, these guys looks like tasty morsels, but they were not. They were morsels with really big guns, and they destroyed me. And then I figured maybe they're better friends.
That's how we recruited a lot of people to Bread Fleet. We'd kill them and then offer them a
regale the crowd with the tale of the wormhole, Commander Cosmic. That is the tale that has solidified our friendship since the earliest days of yore.
Oh, this was pretty early on in my Potchman career, so I didn't really have many combat ships, so I just had a tackling prospect. That's what I was using. And Gabe goes into this wormhole and gets tackled by like a whole wormhole group, it seemed like. And we just called a load of people in. He ended up being able to just tank everyone while I was just holding them in place with this prospect. And we took them all out.
Was that in a J-Space system?
Yeah. I was farming a C3, and he was mining a gas cloud. We figured that's what we're going to do today, because we live in Porsche and we can do anything we want. So that's what we were doing. And suddenly this stiletto just warps in. Whoosh. Air Refta. I hope you're listening. I've named my ship after you. It was a great experience. But he just warps in, and I'm sitting there going like, oh crap, I should have fitted a nuke. This is a problem. I'm not going to hit this guy, right? And this hero warps back to Porsche, fits a scrap, warps to me, gets this guy off me. We warp to the wormhole, and they keep trickling in. Prudix Navy issue, this, that, one after the other. And they just start shooting me on this wormhole, and I just go one by one. Cosmic, that guy, he's almost dead, scrabbing.
They were just ignoring. They were ignoring the prospect that was just scrapping.
Beautiful.
Trying to get the Legion.
Beautiful. They were so angry they followed us into Poshfin, and they stuck around the system for a while trying to figure out where we were, but we were docked up going like later. Oh, it was great. Alyosha as well, by the way, right? Shout out. With his Wetmec, I think he helped. Lost it gloriously.
And, you know, and this is just my ears, but like I hear, obviously, you all have different accents. What time zones are you most active in, and where are you from? Don't all talk at once now.
Yeah, we are all in different time zones. It makes it difficult sometimes, but we seem to manage pretty well. I'm on the East Coast of the United States myself, and
the
I'm
UK.
most active in the evenings. Yeah.
I'm from the UK.
Yeah.
I'm playing my mornings. It's similar to you.
Me and Cosmic have similar time zones. I'm from the Netherlands, I'm Dutch. I have a very unhealthy sleeping rhythm, though. I usually try to tie in with Kylon.
I feel like every Eve player has an unhealthy sleeping schedule.
It's not something to be proud of, but it's also, you know,
That's why we play this game, isn't it?
It's an unfortunate consequence, I guess.
Timers.
Now, have you all got something new planned? I know you've been, you know, doing the fleets out, banging ESSs, doing a little bit of, you know, guerrilla mining here and there. You got like future plans for your group, or just kind of more of the same for right now until something pops up?
We're kind of quite independent in Toast, so each pilot we're kind of like anarchists, so there's no tax, and everyone just kind of does what they want, really. More like a group of friends.
Well, I have a couple of plans. Personally, I want to farm those new cap sites, obviously, but we are trying to, you know, gather up a supply of keys, and I'd enjoy it if a couple of guys from Poshfin, I'm thinking about Beta and the Sweetball guys, they've been really interested with flying with us to do these key eats, and just try and rob these banks and see if maybe we can get some cool fights out of it. But currently we're just stacking up, you know, so I have a supply so we can do it consistently for a period of time. So yeah, that's on the horizon, I guess. And we want to do some interesting fits and, you know, Ickies, Shacks, so many cool ships to fly for us Trigs. You know, we can do a lot of cool things when we play around with these 45 keys and people start preparing for them. So, I mean, that's at least what I want to do with you guys, but we know how it works.
Yeah, sounds fun.
I know. Go on.
I was going to say I've also been trying to get some new players into Pochvin, just teaching them how to like survive, because Adventure is a perfect ship for dangerous space. So if you're a new player, need a bit of help, let me know.
I know. Spectre Fleet there not that long ago had like their first ESS reserve bank, like public fleet. They went out. They had a couple of keys they'd managed to farm, and they went out, and I think they ended up stealing like 3.5 or 4 billion in a fleet.
What's the Toast Plunder Fund on at the moment?
I think we're on about 5 bill. I think.
All right,
Sounds
so
about right.
and I had 10, so we were on 15 bill so far.
Wow.
Stolen from Pandemic Horde, Frat.
No.
It's
well,
amazing.
Stolen, functionally, it's ours, right? Because the unifying signaler for ownership is a key, and we had it. So I don't think I don't really think we stole anything. I think we just went somewhere and there was money that belonged to us because we had the key. That's how it works with keys, I think.
Exactly.
I'm not a key expert, but
I think that's just science.
Right? I challenge you to find a fault in that logic.
I don't think any court would convict you for taking money from a bank vault that you had the key for. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Right. It's completely logical.
Yeah,
Hell, if it was theirs, they'd have the key, right?
I mean, what's that saying? Possession is 9/10 of the law, right?
Right. Or either that, or they're just willy-nilly putting these keys in places for people to find. That doesn't make any sense. No one responsible would treat their essential keys that way. So it must be that it's mine.
That's amazing.
Right?
So if anyone finds a key
Ours,
anywhere
sorry,
throughout
guys.
Eve, if anyone finds a key scattered throughout Eve, they should return it to you.
Well, then they should use that key to get their money, right? Because they have money somewhere, because they got the key, right? It's about the money, not the key. That just implies ownership of the money. So if they have a key, then clearly someone thinks that their money is not their money. It's their money. It's not making any more sense, is it? Right.
You have to liberate your money back.
I'm going to have to side with Tommy on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's just we're just trying to be fun and have some fun content with people. So, right, if we show up, we're a bunch of weirdly dressed Raglavians. We'll put some symbols in local so you know it's us. Right, try and form something fun. Give us a good fight. Don't warp in 50 marauders because you're a bunch of cheap guns and you want 50 mil split between 50 guys. Right, come just have a fun fight. You can red later, right, and make money. Just warp in a couple cool ships. And we'll have some fun. I think that's what it's for. It's great content. Just players. It's up to the players.
Yeah, that's a great attitude to have.
And we are getting enough of these banks to buy a couple new Vetmax. So you're not going to deter us. We'll just get some more money from you some other way. Right? It's not hard.
If you don't take it from the bank, you'll loot it from the wrecks you blow up.
Yeah. All sorts of ways.
All sites.
Right.
It sounds like a truthfully, from an outsider looking in, it sounds like a good group, having a lot of fun. Just too bad you're freaking trigs.
Good. I think you're confusing a word. It's good that the word is what you were looking for. I think. Sorry, I'm just trying to help. Triggers are amazing, man. We're here to save you from the drifters, don't you know?
Or are the drifters here to save us from the trigs?
No, the drifters were here first, and they were shooting you guys, so that doesn't make any sense.
And then the trigs came and shot us too, so here we are.
And Wade and Com are here to save you all from yourselves.
That was just some proving.
You abducted billions of people and forcefully mutated.
It's the same thing with the keys. Those stars were ours. It's the exact same principle.
You were just taking back what was yours.
Just taking back what was ours, right? We could have taken all the stars. Clearly didn't.
Well,
only the pretty ones were ours.
Take them all because we have 54 fortresses to 27 liminalities.
That's because we are particularly modest people,
Right.
We gave you the majority stake.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Just to show our intent.
You never wanted those 54 anyway.
Right? You totally planned this, right?
Yeah, amazing.
I have no idea.
Oh, well, look, that sounds fantastic. And I definitely think once you get the hang of those new capital sites and you're yeeting Yorkas out of Poshvin to run the new capital sites or to tackle people around the capital sites, you'll have to come back and give us a bit of a spiel about what you've been up to.
Well, it's going to be a bit, and we're going to check. I mean, RC might want to do stuff with the the whole capital element of things as well. So they're going to be interesting. I'm curious about how they'll entice people to trigger for fights as well, because you are putting a cap in space, for 5 minutes somewhere. So I think it's going to be hard to do that particularly safely. If people set up some intel networks, right, 5 minutes to get somewhere, it's not hard.
Yeah, agreed.
Can you can sino into where the cap is though, right?
I assume so. I think you just work to it in line sino.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be better if it made it dead space, so you couldn't just have instant umbrella defense.
I'll let you know when I warp into the site. I have no idea. We'll see.
I do know when you drop these new crabs, they're called. I forget what they actually call it. The acronym is crab, but when you drop it, it forms a warpable
Concord Research and it's literally crab, but I forgot what it is.
Concord Research Analysis Beacon, I think maybe.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh.
Yeah. When you drop one of these crabs, they form up as a a warpable object on the overview, like a normal Sino.
Like the old ESS, basically.
Yes, yeah. Which have now been fully removed from the game. Yeah, awesome. In other kind of like Eve news, real quick to just round up the end of the show, there is a 2v2 interceptor proving ground going on right now. That's going to run until Tuesday at downtime. And then I'm really looking forward to the Triglavian one next week, to be honest. The
Kiki Roaches.
Yeah, I think that'll be good fun. In celebration of Triglavian Day.
Yeah.
Or Totality
Should
Day,
be
my
cool.
apologies.
Yeah, that'll be fun to do.
And we should all have our Kiki fits from running the Rogue Drone events as well.
Right?
We also had a cool new video pop up on the Eve Academy. This is all about fitting your ship. So earlier on in the week, we had one about trading for profit, which was less a guide on trading and more like an introduction to like the market overview window and how market trading works in the game. But we had one come up again now for fitting a ship. So again, just like really cool visuals and I guess helpful guides for the new beginners on how you actually fit a ship, the bonuses, looking at like the bonus of a ship if it's got drone bonuses, put drones in it, you know, high slots, low slots, mids. Really nice little introduction guide to how you go about fitting a ship in Eve. So I'm loving that they're keep expanding on the Eve Academy and add more to it. I don't know if any of you watched that one on scanning. They had one on scanning there not that long ago. That was really good as well because I know a lot of new players get caught up on scanning.
Yeah, there's a couple of those things that if you play long enough, you forget that it's not as intuitive as you remember it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to explain how to scan something, it's just easier to, I think, have someone watch a video.
Yeah, much.
Or like a screen share within Discord, right? That's something I'll often do is just screen share and then like talk through it. It's so much easier to talk through it. But yeah, check those out. They're really cool. I love the Eve Academy. They seem to be partnering up with some good like partners. Actual like CCP streaming partners that they have for filling in content. I'd like to see an expanded one on the trading. So like the Eve Academy one on trading is more how the market window works. I'd love to see like actual market trading strategies. Something that like Oz Eve covers or something would be really cool as well. But yeah.
All right, what's next?
Actually, I'll just give a quick rundown of some of the content we covered during the week if you haven't missed it. On Tuesday, Artemis had an amazing show. He kind of covered the recent events in the last couple of weeks that has been happening all over the map. So if you're curious about what's happening in nullsec or lowsec or what various groups are up to, he had a really, really good show and a little bit of history. So go watch the... Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, he also did fairly early in that stream, if I remember right, he went over how to use the map to find where the conflict is at. And a lot of folks had never seen that before, so that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're not used to like hunting, how to use a map to like check for activity or to like find what's going on in the universe. Very good show from Artemis on Tuesday. I highly recommend people watching it. On Wednesday, myself, Shen, did like the next in the industry series we've been doing. So we had Ravendell from the Ravworks website on to talk about like manufacturing. And we're actually going to have another one to talk about manufacturing this coming week as well, because manufacturing is so big. So we kind of covered Tech 1, bit of Tech 2 manufacturing last week. And then this week coming, we're going to talk about like manufacturing big stuff, capitals, especially since the capital industry changes. And also things like structures and stuff coming up this week. Last Sunday we had a wormhole interview with Jimmy Michaels, who was an FC for Hard Knocks, along with Teddy and Mark Resurrectus, and there was a bit of a conflict going on right now between HOSA, Wholesale, another wormhole group, and Hard Knocks. So we had Jimmy from Hard Knocks last Sunday, and then on Thursday of this week we had an amazing wormhole show hosted by Rich Richmond and Mark Resurrectus. We had some representative of Wholesale come on, give their side of the topic. Really cool. So it was just kind of like general wormhole overview, and then focusing in on like the current, I guess, big conflict that's happening in wormhole space. So that was kind of our coverage this week. Really cool. Like, I'm really glad to get those 2 wormhole shows going this week. They were like, I think, really nice change of pace. You can kind of get caught up on the current wormhole happenings. Oh, and yesterday there was
I never know.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was distracted. I never know what's going on in wormholes.
Yeah, all right. I mean, unless you're deeply involved in
Right.
a lot of the wormhole community, they kind of just tend to do their own thing, and it's not on any map, so it's kind of hard to find. But yeah, there's been lots of structures and lots of combat between Hard Knocks and some of their allies like Laserhawks and Inner Hell versus Wholesale and some of their allies. So there's lots of structures, lots of farmholes being blown up. I think there's at like 9 or 10 Astra houses, a bunch of Fortizars.
I think toward the end of this week, I'm not sure if it was Rich or whom, but was trying to get a couple of them on, basically try and get an update. Is this going on? Are you guys hooking and jabbing? Because it's really hard to find info sometimes on what's going on deep in the holes.
Yeah, it's absolutely still an ongoing conflict. It seems to just be growing and escalating more than slowing down. So yeah, we will absolutely be keeping our ear to the ground on that one, keeping our eyes on the wormholes, and be updating you as that conflict continues to bubble up. Oh, and yesterday we had a great live show from Vienna Live, so we just rebroadcasted it on our Twitch. You had Rocket X and a few other people like just talking about EVE Online. It will be there in our videos.
It's the boss. I didn't see it.
Yeah. It was from EVE Vienna. So as COVID has kind of started to go away, and we have more of these like in-person player events, so we just had a rebroadcast of that stream. I will actually drop it in chat right now if anyone's curious to watch it. I'll send it to you as well, Tommy, here.
Sweet.
I think also of mention is that in faction warfare, the Galente side of the Galente Caldari war is down to their last system in the war zone. So if the Caldari can take a goes, then that would be a full war zone capture.
Wow.
Has that ever happened before?
Yeah, that every militia's done it before, and like a medal was given out the first time it was done. The Amar did it not too long ago, recently, but like everybody has done it in the past before. It's something that's happening if the Caldari take it goes.
Yeah, we saw that there a couple of weeks ago. There was a big push from the...
There's a big fight in Filet.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, in Filet, which I love because I always think of fish whenever I always get hungry whenever I read that system name.
My favorite system is Hullmate. I'm in Hullmate. Why didn't you broadcast? Right.
I love that.
It's terrible.
Oh, I love really bad dad jokes. But yeah, you're right. We had a great fighting between the Caldari and the Galente faction warfare, and as you said, down to one system. That's incredible. Great showing of force there from the Caldari people.
You can imagine all the jokes we made during the Battle of Arsia.
Yeah, it's our chat. All right,
Yes,
we took it.
Ours.
Yeah. Although the our AR being OUR is like every system of that. Like in the Amar Minmatar war zone, Arzad always gets called Arzad by the Amar with OUR, and Minmatar call it by the Minmatar name of Starkman. Right, so everybody fights. That's always a hot spot.
I like it.
AR equals OUR, and Arshat is a weird name. Right.
Yeah, all these names were, I believe, like kind of computer generated or some sort of algorithm to generate a lot of them.
I mean, each of the empires kind of has like their own kind of theme by which the generator pick names.
Yeah, they are definitely teamed, but they are random within that team, so you end up with some kind of funny looking ones.
Isn't that just like entirely a region that's like Thor and Odin and all sorts of stuff like that?
You're thinking of Fountain's constellation names, right? Pegasus and Manticore.
I don't know. I really never looked that far. I just remember
the
the systems
constellation names of Fountain are like fantastic. They're like mythical beasts and stuff.
I mean, I knew there was Pegasus. I actually didn't look at all the other constellation names.
Yeah, some of the funniest system names to me are null, like oh shit, Take.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Right.
Yep.
That's like my favorite system name in the game.
I love when you ask someone in comms, where are they? Where are you? I'm an oh shit. It's like, are you in trouble or are you actually there?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Oh, hilarious.
There's Cat, and before Vale got abducted, there was Vale next to Cat, so it was the Vale of the Cats. All right.
Oh, brilliant. I'm still over here laughing at oh shit, huh?
Or in the Minmatar side, in Metropolis, in the war zone, there's Arnher and Onher, right next to each other, and one's HiSec. And
Oh yes, I remember those.
a lot of people go in there and like get concorded or something because they have a criminal timer from fighting in Losec, from potting somebody, or being like the enemy militia and getting shot by the police because they jump into the wrong one. Remember, go to Arnher because you're a pirate, because it's R, right? So that's how you remember that one.
We've had similar confusion in Poshvin because there's a system called Otella and there's one called Attila.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And as Pol says in chat, Harass gets memed. Yeah, Harass is a dead end system next to Satogas, and I used to live in Satogas, so I know about. Oh, a battleship just went into Harass, right? But, no, but that is a meme for sure.
Oh, that's brilliant. All right, before we devolve too much into playground antics, listen, I think that's a still
that's a wrap. Well, we're still good.
A high note to end on.
Oh, sorry, that's hilarious. I'll have to go fly battleships into Harass now.
We actually used to live in Satogas, and whenever something shiny would go into that system, we would set up a gate camp really fast, so things could go into Harass, but they couldn't come out.
Jesus.
Oh, Arsia.
All right. Other than that, any other final thoughts from our panel?
No, I don't think so, Nick. Thank you for taking us back on topic.
It's also not fair that their name is Arsia. There's a link there as well, right?
That's not okay.
All right, listen. Commander, Cosmic, Kyle, Tommy, thank you so much for I guess what you do in the game and for coming on Talking Stations today and sharing that with us. between Yeet and Orcas.
Thanks for having us.
Why is there a paladin? It's a famous last words, warping somewhere, and why is there a paladin here? It's not supposed to be a paladin here.
I would like to check in with you guys like in a couple weeks after those capital sites come out and you get a chance to check them out.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just
definitely. Oh, right. Sorry, I'm just warping to my staging in Porsche and I see a couple of marauders sitting somewhere they should not supposed to be, so I'm a little bit confused.
They're friendly.
It's Lexi. All right. Sorry. A bit of a sidetrack there.
No, it's all good. Listen, guys, thank you so much for coming out and taking time to talk to us about what you're doing, and hopefully we'll be able to check back in with us when you have like conquered the capital sites.
Yeah, that's
a bit more shenanigans to.
That's what you said. Yeah, maybe we'll have done the whole key site try. You know, if I have a bunch of keys, I'll start it up again with the Vetmax and possibly some other ships, and then I'll probably also know if I died in the capsites or if I made them profitable.
Yeah, it'd be great to know, and definitely have to come on and explain that to us. We might be able to get like some footage of it as well, or something. Be cool to see and show people.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I love talking about these sites because so many people might not know them, might not do them, and just to hear about them, what it takes to run them, and kind of the fun you've been up to, and shenanigans with you eating orcas out is just great. Like,
I mean, to me, it's just a lot of fun to figure out how all that stuff works. It feels kind of like beating a level, right?
Yeah. We don't have levels in Eve, but I guess that's absolutely like conquering a level, getting an achievement, and taking it up to the next notch.
Right, just that little project of how does this work? You know, what does it do? How do you optimize it? It's a fun process.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Nick, Arsia. Thank you guys for giving up your time to coming on the show, being here with us today. And
it's always fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I expose myself of being 5.
We're all allowed to act a little bit childish at times. So listen, guys, I'm gonna raid Joe Bain here. If you want to hang around for the raid and the watch. Otherwise, for everyone out there watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and do all that stuff that makes the analytics monster happy. And thank you again. I've been your host, Abbie Rova. Fly safe.